private messages and DMs in regards to the shows on both of my public service platforms, Open Session _ podcast, as well as Narc Abuse _ TV. So I never really have much to say at the beginning of a show. It's more or less kind of a behind the scenes, how much goofiness takes place and goes on before I start a show. That's pretty much done. Monitor over here is good. Monitor there is good. Monitor, turn this around over here. Monitor here is good. Monitor here is good down there. Lights. See, it's really kind of like a bunch of stuff happening behind the scenes. One day I will show everyone what that is. But Fiona is the focus today. We're going to focus on Fiona. New beginnings. People often want that. Fiona's going to talk about that and a whole lot more. So, enough of me. More of Fiona.
Hey.
I did it. You know, every time I do these, it's always a little gamble, as it were, because this is free TV for those who are tired of looking at Netflix, Prime Video, and anything else they could think of, to come and hang out with us. How are you doing, Fiona?
I am good, thank you. Yeah, I 2 minutes before we were supposed to start, I'm like, wait, what am I supposed to do?
Why did you tell them? See, I want people to always think that the show is late because of me. It's never because of the diva that I'm interviewing or I'm having a conversation with. You are the diva for the day, and as long as your trailer accommodations were working just fine. Was everything okay for you?
Yeah,
Did you
the
have
green room, I have to say, there were too many yellow gummy bears, but apart from that, it was great. Thank you.
Okay, all right. A woman that knows just what she wants is what every mature man wants. So thank you. Yellow gummy bears, check off. Guaranteed.
Right,
all right, enough of the music, because we're going to have some fun here. I know we are. But I hate to tell you this. I'm going to start off maybe on a sad per se note, because I don't want to sound too much of a doomsday person, because these are positive conversations. And now I don't want you to start freaking out and go like, what is he going to say? Because all of my guests trust me that I am going to navigate the show in the right direction. So the reason I mention this to you is because people have reached out to me in regards to this particular show who have gone through a lot. So a few of them have said they knew that I could make this a positive subject, but some of their stories are pretty sad. I'm just going to tell you that, some of the things that I've just heard over the past couple of days. So I just want you to know that we're going to team up now and bring a little, hopefully, light and levity to their dark period that they're going through. But I know you're going to provide them with some tips that will help. Some people, guys, don't feel this is that I'm being biased. I'm not leaving you out. I'm just going to talk predominantly with females, though we are going to talk about guys maybe a little bit later, some other project you got going on. Many women reach out to me because they're dealing with life after divorce, struggling with the confidence, struggling with the ability to just, in no other words, to pick themselves up off the mat, as it were. Feel like they've taken a gut punch to their self-esteem, to their inner beauty, as well as their external beauty. They feel at a loss. I'm kind of summing up in about the nicest way I can to people recognizing you were coming on the show. So can you address, whichever way you want to start, some of the things that I just kind of touched on that women mentioned that they wanted to see the show later after I upload it, that they're dealing with life after divorce, new beginning.
Right. It is that, all of those things, all of the above, everything you said, it can be so devastating, because and I went through it. I was there, believe me. I was with my ex-husband for 22 years. I met him when I was 22 years old. And we were married for, 17 of those before he walked out. I had I thought, perfect family, perfect life. I saw everything. I knew exactly what was going to happen in my life. And this is not the life that I started with myself, right? As a young woman, things have been very messed up in my childhood. And so I thought, this was it. This is great. I've got my kids are set. This is wonderful. And literally in the space of 5 minutes, I learned that all that had just gone, right? And the hardest part, and my story is not by any means unique. This is what I hear. It's what people tell me. Women tell me all the time. This happens all the time. They didn't see it coming. Probably should, but we didn't, right? Yeah. And what it does is it completely strips you of your identity. And that's where the hard part comes in, because you think you're this mother, you're somebody's wife, you're this person in the society, you're this person in your social circle, and all of a sudden you're not. And it's like, well, if I'm not that person, who am I? And then the second thought is, what did I do to screw it up so badly? Because we always blame ourselves, right? We always think it's our fault, and it is. And it puts you in this place where you can't even think straight. You know, I always, it's like having severe ADHD. That's why I would describe it. Wow. You know, you're sitting on the couch, you know, and this can happen for years. I mean, I've talked to women who are dealing with this years later. It's not just like an immediate thing. You're sitting on the couch, you know, you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to do that. And this is on your list. And you just can't stick a pin in it because you can't make a decision. And so, because you don't trust yourself anymore. You're like, well, if I messed that up so bad, if I didn't see that come in, if I didn't know this was going to happen, how am I able to make any decisions at all?
So you're second guessing yourself
all the time, because you don't trust yourself anymore. You don't trust. You thought you knew everything that was going to happen. You thought you had your life all planned out. You thought you had a handle on things, and then you don't. Right. So how can you possibly figure anything else out, right? This is what's going through your head.
So when all of that is streaming in, does it get to a point, and maybe you've described it, but does it, and correct me if I get this wrong.
Yeah.
Does it get to a point where it seems as if you've been just deluged with all of these thoughts and emotions to the point that you feel like you're drowning?
That's exactly what it is. That's you're drowning, you're unable to cope, like, and then you get the stress, you get anxiety, you're not sleeping, you develop, you know, so what do you do to make yourself feel better, right? You're like, well,
I'm going to eat.
Yeah, I'm going to, that's what I did. Yeah. I was big on that one. Because that's my whole life I did that. But yeah, no, I'm going to eat, or I might drink a little bit too much, or you know, another one I did, I hate to for my kids, I went out and partied like a lunatic, right? Whenever they weren't around. You know, you're going to maybe spend too much money because you feel better if you've got nice things. There's so many things that we do to make ourselves feel better. But the problem is, it's like great for the 5 minutes you're doing it. And then the next thing that happens is you go, oh my God, what is wrong with me? And then you just berate yourself. And then all of that goes into your head like, oh, I'm such a loser. And it's just this vicious, which makes you eat more, right? Oh my God, I ate a packet of cookies. No. What am I doing?
Yeah.
I know I'll eat more.
Man, you did a packet? You're better than me. I've been doing 2 packets and justifying the third one. Justifying the third. Because we turn on ourselves in different situations. But right now we're talking about life after divorce. Okay. Anne, I see, I'm going to go to the screen real quick. Anne, little baby roll call here. I normally do a roll call at the beginning of every show. Anne Crosby, thank you for being here. And thank you for the compliment on the mic, by the way, Jessica, I saw that. Everyone, I just want you to know this show may not pertain to you, but my shows are generated based upon people that write me what they want to see. I go find the individuals and bring them on the show, or the subject. This subject was huge. Life after divorce. So that's the alley that we're going down, and eventually the Broadway that we will walk down. And I'm doing that with Fiona. Fiona, what's your page so that others can find you?
The Instagram fab.with.Fiona.
Right, but you can be found in many other locations and places, correct?
Yeah, I got Facebook, Fiona Eckersley Coaching. What else? FionaEckersleyCoaching.com. Get a lot of information on there. Have a YouTube channel, but I honestly can't remember the
That's okay, because
just Google me. Honestly, if you Google me, you'll find articles. You'll find, I did it the other day. It was kind of scary, actually. Articles and videos and my website, everything.
Right. When you can, just a new thing I just started a few days ago, asking my guests, and when you get a chance, when the show is done, and you have a chance over the next few days to go into the comments and put all that information. A lot
Let
of
me know.
my viewers are requesting that so they have like they want a resource center, and they're going to use this particular page for that to find you if
Right.
they don't find you in just one location. When it comes to feeling overwhelmed, a deluge of emotions, insecurity starts to mount when someone's trying to pick themselves back up from being this low blow into their gut when their mate walks out. When a woman finds herself that way, in that position, what are some of now you got tons of tips, you got tons of things. I'm going to get to some of those in a minute. We're
Okay.
just talking overall right now. What are some tips overall? The first two things that she can keep in mind if she's feeling like she just can't get out of bed and make sense of this betrayal and he's walked out.
I think the first thing, well, honestly, what kept me going was my kids, but not everybody has that, right? I couldn't stay in bed all day. I have 4 kids. What am I going to do? Um, I think that the first thing you have to do is really look at the situation, because you think you'll never get through it, right? You'll think I'm toast. But if you look at the situation, make a list for yourself. You know what? First thing you can do is make a list for yourself. I usually do this later with clients, but it could help right at the beginning. Do a badass list.
Mm,
Make yourself a list of all the amazing things and that you have accomplished in your life,
okay.
and that the things that you have that you've done, like, get a degree or be a wonderful mother whilst working full time, or all of these
Right.
things. Anything that you can stick on that list. And people are like, well, I haven't done anything. But you know what? You'd be absolutely amazed when you sit down and you start making that list.
Okay.
Anything. It could be anything like, oh, I kept the dogs going. I have a dog and I
Okay.
didn't let it die. Silly things,
Right.
right?
No. Yeah. Right.
Anything you want that's an achievement that you've done in your life. And when you can look at that, oh, my daughter's joy. Oh, hi. Hey, Ellie.
Oh. There you go. Ellie's
um,
here.
let's be careful what I say now. No. So anything that you've got in your life, right, that is an achievement, and you have to keep looking at that, and you have to keep reminding yourself that, like, this is a blow right now, but I am a strong person and I can get through this, right? And it's not about, oh, I can't manage without a man. It's just because your partner walked out. It was the same if a woman does this to the man, they get the same
Well, yeah.
feelings,
Same
right? They
feeling.
might cope
Right.
with it in a different way, but
Hmm.
it's the same stuff. So you just need to remind yourself of all the wonderful things that you can do, and stick that somewhere up high, so that every time, put it on the mirror, so that every time you look in the mirror, instead of going like, oh, look at me, oh my God, like,
Yeah.
it's never going to happen. You go like, oh no, wait, hold on. And anytime something comes up that you do, stick it on that list, you know?
So a person should really make an inventory. They should make a list of what they've accomplished already and
Yeah,
every day. Because I kind of
every
like to
day,
think
right?
about the dog. That's actually kind of cute. So if the fish don't die, if the
Yeah,
bird didn't die,
yeah.
if I
I'm
didn't wreck
amazing.
the
I kept these
car,
animals
right?
alive.
Right. That's
Because
right.
not everybody has kids, but if you have kids, there's a lot to put on there, right?
Yeah.
You got your
There you
kids.
go. There's a lot
Exactly,
to
but
put.
everybody does, so that's fine. There's still stuff that you're keeping alive, maybe. The plant. You know what?
And
It doesn't matter. Just put it down.
and when it comes to having a routine, any suggestions there when it comes to people having a routine to get themselves jump started?
Yeah, you need to. There's a tendency to, hopefully not as much these days, but there's a lot of shame involved. Like, we seem to think it's oh my God, we're so embarrassed. We don't want people to know. Like, in my case, I actually wasn't supposed to tell anybody. That's what I was told. I'm not allowed to tell anybody that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
long story. So, so I wasn't supposed to tell anybody. So I kept it quiet. I did tell my sister because she was in England. Who was she going to tell, right? And I eventually told the neighbor, which got me into trouble. But
With
don't,
who? Got you in trouble with who?
with
With
the
the ex?
ex. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yes. So,
Okay.
so
Oh
you
well.
need to make sure that you're not isolated, right?
Oh,
Don't
okay.
feel that you need to be embarrassed. Tell someone, and don't say, like, don't go off. Who you need to find are people who are good for you. So the person who's saying, oh yeah, he's a this, he's a that, he does, all the bad things that they're going to say, that's not helpful to you, actually. What you want to find is the person who's going to support you. That's okay, because you're this, you're that. All the positive things about you rather than all the negative things about him.
Oh,
Those are the
okay.
people you want to surround yourself with, right?
And
You
that's
don't
gonna
want
help.
the friend who's
Go
going to
ahead.
tell you, I saw him in a bar with a woman last night.
Ah,
Okay,
right.
because what are you going to do about that? All it's going to do is make you feel bad. And
Yeah,
why are they stirring it? Like, are those people
there
really your
you go.
friends? You know what
Right.
I mean? So you got to be very careful at this point about who you want to be in your inner circle.
That may mean family and close friends too, right? Is that what
Oh
you're
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So you're gonna
Family
have,
family can be the worst, actually.
I guess so, huh? Yeah, I guess
And
that,
sometimes they're not sympathetic. Sometimes they're like, "What did you do?"
right.
Right?
They're
Instead of
they're
saying what happened
right.
and how are you feeling and how are you coping, they're like, "What did you do?" You
Instead
know
of
what I mean?
saying
Those
what can I do to help or anything like that, they
That's what you need.
instead are kind of kicking your legs out from underneath you while you're trying to get back up. And
Yeah.
so
So
you
you
have
need
to
to
find people to help you get back up. Go ahead. You were going to say
Yes.
something?
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, get rid of the toxic people. You don't need them.
Okay. Now, when it comes to the feelings that come, the emotions that take place, people can't avoid them. We can't
Nope.
self-medicate them away. Sometimes people are just angry when it first happens. How do they
Well,
deal with the anger?
yeah, anger is the biggest and it lasts a really long time, years, unless you deal with it. I would say anger and hate are the worst emotions, right? Not only they make you a person who's going to be bad tempered all the time. So anybody that wants to help you, after a while, they're like, I can't listen to this anymore. Like you're actually going to alienate people. You can't help it. It's what's inside you, right?
Yeah.
It makes you physically ill. You know, it eats away at you. It makes you
Hmm.
mentally more stressed. So I think the best way, it sounds awful, and people are going to hate this. They're going to hate it because the best way to deal with it is you have to forgive. Now, right when this first happens, you're not going to be able to just, it takes a while to get to that point, right?
And
But forgive,
everyone's different about that time frame, that time that they need.
right?
But at
But
the
the thing is,
beginning, it's going to be difficult.
it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So focusing on you rather than what he's doing, you got to focus on yourself. What do I need to do for me?
Okay.
Right? What, not, oh, he's doing this and he's doing that and he has a girlfriend and he's doing, no, you can't. I know you want to, and it's so much easier to feed into that. Anger and hate is so much easier than trying to be positive.
Right.
Like as human beings, we just feed on that stuff.
No,
Like
that's
it's
true.
so easy.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying about negative people. But you have to focus on yourself and say, all right, this is the situation I'm in. Where do I want to be? If I, there's no shoulda, woulda, coulda anymore, right? You cannot focus
Uh,
on the, I should
that's
be
good.
living this life.
Yeah.
I,
Could
I
have been
would have,
too.
I would have been on vacation with my husband this
Yeah.
week, right? Or if I'd only been nicer,
Oh,
we
yeah.
could have made it work. None of that's it. You can't look back because it's not going to change things. Okay. So shoulda, woulda, coulda, try and eliminate that and focus on what's happening right now, right? What do you need to do for yourself right now? Because goals right now at the beginning are a little too distant. You can't quite get your head around that.
Okay, so goals are a
So
little too distant because that's a couple of people wrote me that, and I told them to watch the show to see what you say. But that's a very good point that you're bringing out. People try to enforce those goals and reach them, and maybe that's a little too much for them at the moment. Is
yeah,
that what
you
you're
got to
saying?
get through this. First, you got to get through the anger and hate, right?
Okay.
The anger and hate and the disconnection with yourself, right? So really, and the other thing, I mean, there's a lot of what nots to do. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but
No, 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 no. This is
do
perfect.
not dive right into a new relationship,
Oh, yeah,
right?
that sounds like
Because all
yeah.
of your friends are telling you that's all right. You're too good for him. Go find another man. You'll be just great, but you won't,
No
because
bueno.
what's going
Bad
to happen
idea.
is, yeah, it's a terrible idea. I happen to know because I did it. I'm sure my two kids who are watching will comment
The way you
exactly
said that
what
was
was wrong
like,
with that. Yeah.
yeah, and your
Elliot
children are
Grace can
going
tell
like,
you why.
yeah, listen to my mom. That's what they're saying. Okay, go ahead. You were
Yeah.
saying,
So you dive. What happens is
uh,
unless you fixed whatever's going on with you at the time,
yeah,
right? There's a reason Okay, hold on. I'll come back to that. Unless you've fixed what's going on with you and the way that you feel, and you've let go of this anger and hate, and you've started to trust yourself, and you've started to believe in yourself, what's going to happen is you're going to end up with the same terrible relationship, which you might not felt it was terrible, but you're getting divorced. So obviously it was not a great relationship, right?
There you go. Right.
The same relationship with the same type of man that doesn't work for you over and over and over again until you figure out why that's happening, right? And I'm not victim blaming. What I'm saying is this is a case,
No,
right?
this is
So
right. No,
you're
right.
messed up, your baggage and his
Yeah.
baggage, his meanness, his controlling, whatever it is,
Whatever
all
we want
just
to
fits
label it.
so
Yeah.
nicely together, right? So you need to be that person that it doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. So those guys will go away now. Okay. So what I generally find with clients when I work with them, they come to me after divorce. I mean, I've had a couple of widows, and I've worked with other people, obviously, but mostly divorced women come to me, and we talk about the divorce at the beginning. But after the first session, honestly, the divorce is kind of distant, because what we find is it's everything that led up to them meeting that particular person, to be in that particular marriage, to go through whatever they went within that marriage, to end up being divorced. It was all the stuff leading up in your life that got you to there, not the divorce. The divorce is not necessarily the issue. The divorce is the tipping point when you suddenly go like, oh hell, and everything comes rushing in, right? So it's a lot of limiting beliefs, and that's why I call myself, I'm not a divorce coach, because I don't necessarily take them through the divorce. It's a confidence coach, because like you said, you have no confidence in yourself. You had no belief in yourself. And until you have that, you're not able to believe that you can set those goals and go for them. It's like people say about saying affirmations, like, oh, you should just do affirmations all the time.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, well, you know what? You don't believe it when you say it. It's not going to do you
Yeah. Right.
good. You can write as many sticky notes as you want and stick them up all over your house and go like, I'm what was that Saturday Night Live sketch? I can't remember now. What did that guy say?
Which one?
I can't remember this. Anyway, so, you look in the mirror and you say, I'm a wonderful person. I'm so fantastic. Yeah. If you don't believe it, it's not going to work.
Yeah, that's true. It's no matter how much I can put Post-it notes up telling me not to eat the entire container of Chunky Monkey, I'm still going to do it.
Yeah,
because I don't believe the Post-it note.
Move the thing out of the way and feel guilty.
Hey, I didn't think about that one. I just totally ignore it. I don't even move it. Just ignore it. Well, and many people treat their relationship like that. No matter how much let's say it's not Chunky Monkey. Let's just say that they're bored or whatever. What causes a divorce in many cases, at least from what I'm hearing, is something that got them in the relationship in the first place. So if they lack confidence, the divorce, they're going to still have a lack of confidence when it's over with. That means they need to talk to you. They need to talk to you.
They do need to talk to me, yes. And I want to go back to something you said earlier, but we kept on, and I didn't want to interrupt you. When you said that
you didn't want to interrupt me. What kind of guest are you? I told you that my guests are the diva. You're the diva. Oh, is that what it is? Yeah, you get me on the accent. There, you got me. Yeah, all right. I succumb to the accent. Okay, go ahead.
So what I was going to say was, when you said that this might not be for everybody because it's about divorce.
Oh yeah.
Actually, the thing is, the 2 books I wrote totally aimed at women after divorce.
Yeah.
But all the advice I give, you don't have to be divorced to take that advice. Like, that advice is for anybody that's going through any change in identity, right? It could be an empty nester. It could be that you lost your job. It could be the loss of whatever makes loss of a spouse, right?
Okay.
Anything that makes you realize that this is not the person I thought I was anymore. You lose that confidence, and all of these things will help you move past that, right? We're never gonna. That's the other thing about divorce. You're not gonna get over it. I hate when people say, "Oh, get over it," or "You're gonna get over it." You're not gonna get over it. You're gonna get past it.
Yeah.
Because it's part of your life. Everything that you have.
It's something that's gonna keep. Yeah, and it's going to keep coming up in different discussions and different moments. Somebody else mentions it. It's like, it's very similar to when a person has someone, of course, lose a loved one in death, or a baby is born. A father, I do it. I look at somebody else having a kid, and I immediately go back to when my children were born. So, it's just, things will connect. You can navigate and negotiate yourself around certain things. But you are unique because you have so many IG stories. You have so many, excuse me, yeah, you have, I said that right, IG stories. You have so many things on your Instagram page that I don't think a lot of people have availed themselves to. So I am imploring everyone that will watch this later, and more people are download this show and watch it off of Instagram's platform than actually watch it on their platform. And I know who some of you are. So 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 when you watch this, please go to Fiona's page. You have some videos that are very, very good. You have a lot of great content and information that can help a person's character and their confidence. I'm throwing out a bunch of C's in that.
Thank you.
So let me go back to some F's for Fiona. So when we focus on Fiona's page, we can find things. Did you like that? I gave you some more because
That's very good, yeah.
I know you like letters and words and all that kind of stuff. As former
Alliteration.
teacher, alliteration, yes, you love alliteration. So do I. So I just don't use it that much except at certain times. But when it comes to instructing others to see the good in themselves, that's the way I describe you. You open to them, you open their eyes for them to see parts of themselves that maybe they lost during the marriage. Maybe they never really had when they entered a rebound relationship or got married.
Right.
What are some of the stories that you can tell us, without naming names, some of the things that you can tell us that are beneficial for people to know that you've helped others with or you've heard, and maybe they're similar to what others are going through, and you've helped people navigate through it or around it?
Right. Trying to think of each client. Oh, so I'll come up with a couple of different ones. So, sometimes I have clients who, they're stay-at-home mothers, or one lady in particular was a big corporate exec. Like, she was an engineer, right?
Wow.
Very high up in the company, doing really, really well, was divorced. But she came to me because she had been offered this great promotion, right?
Okay.
Either a great promotion or she got a chance to work for her father's company. And she was
Okay.
like, I actually think I'm going to get fired. And I go, what do you, she wouldn't take the promotion. I go, what are you talking about? Right. So we're talking about loss of like money. We're talking about everything here. She's going to lose everything. And I said, what do you mean? You think you're going to get fired? They just offered you a promotion.
Yeah.
But she couldn't see it, right? She couldn't see doing really well. And then she was having problems with the guys at work because she was in charge. It was engineering, obviously. It was mostly men underneath her. Yeah. And she would say to them, I need you to, there's a lot more to it than this, but she would say, I need you to do whatever project. And that some of them, especially one in particular, would outright say, no, I don't want to do that. And so she'd do it. And I go, you know what?
She did the project after she told him to do it, and he said no, and she did it anyhow?
Yeah. And I go, you know what? Never worked in the corporate world, but I'm pretty sure that's not how it's supposed to work.
No.
So what's going on?
Worked in the corporate world, it doesn't work that way. Yeah. I think he starts to look for another place. Yeah, go. So what happened?
Yeah, and this guy was just, and he wasn't the only one, but he was the main character, just not respecting her. And so she's like, I'm not doing my job properly. I'm trying to do their work. I'm doing my work. I'm trying to, So basically, eventually we got her to have this man, HR and her, have a meeting. Yeah, I told her what to say. She went through. And so, long story short, one of the things I told her that she was, oh my gosh, I can't remember, boss lady. That's what I told her. She had to assume that she was, that's her new persona is boss lady, right? Yeah. Right. And so we worked on that. We went through a lot of limiting beliefs, that's what I do. I work on limiting beliefs, which I could explain what those are if people don't know.
We will, yeah.
Yeah. And right from her childhood through her whole upbringing, right? And into this whole business with her ex-husband, who literally belittled her all the time. And so she, even then, after she got this guy sorted out, she started to believe in herself. She got herself do it. And she says to me, you know what? I actually changed the sign. She made a sign for her desk that said boss lady. She actually changed it to super boss lady. And I was so proud of her. I'm like, that's amazing, right? She took the promotion. She went on the thing. She did the whole training and she got the promotion. And she, she moved on from there. Like, I'm still in touch with her. And she, not only that, but then she went on to actually talk at women's conferences
Wow.
and share things that she to women, abused women, things that she learned with me, she was then sharing
Look at
at the
that.
conferences, which really I was like, that's why I do what I
That's
do.
why you, yeah.
That's
You
yeah.
never know. You never know
So
who
that
you'll
so
be
that was
touching.
that. So that was like a corporate woman who was, she just didn't see the fact that she was so high up
Yeah.
and she was in charge of all these people. All she saw was that she was screwing up and she wasn't doing a great job, which was not true.
Which
But
is
she
probably
couldn't.
what she was hearing in a way of
It's what
limiting
she
beliefs
heard. She heard from her
during her marriage
father.
or before.
Yeah,
That's what I was going to say. Yeah,
from her
yeah,
father,
yeah,
from her ex-husband, like,
yeah.
you don't know anything,
Oh
look
no.
at you, just not, just lots of emotional abuse, right?
How do,
Just lots of
how
nasty stuff.
how does someone work? How does someone work and navigate around that when they're feeling those things? They're hearing those voices, as it were, emotionally, that are telling them, well, limiting them, that they're not good enough. How do you work with someone? What's the starting point that you use to work with someone?
Well, one of the things is, you have to shine a spotlight on these voices you're hearing in your head, right?
Okay.
Because you think that you're hearing them from yourself. And the fact
Okay.
is, by the time you're doing it, you are hearing it from yourself, because you hear it enough that you start to repeat it to yourself, and it becomes the truth of who you are. And then not only that, but then you're convincing other people too. It like
Oh,
it's
wait. No, no, no. You got to back up on that. So you convincing other people. So in other words,
because you're saying you
you're
what you
recruiting other
say.
people to join in on this bashing of thyself.
Right. Because
Oh,
you
come
say
on.
it all the
Wow,
time.
that's
Like, I
crazy.
don't know what I'm
Right.
doing. I'm not clear, and sometimes people are like, oh, well, maybe she's right. Maybe she is
Yeah.
that dumb. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
and then you make it worse, right? So what do? We shine a spotlight on the things that are said, and we look at the actual, this is what you hear in your head. This is what the actual truth of your life is. Okay, what she's hearing is, I'm not good enough, I can't look after these men, I can't do this job, I shouldn't go for this promotion, why are they even giving it to me? And then we look at all of her achievements next to that, and the fact that they're offering you the promotion, and you put them side by side, and they don't make sense. One is just what you hear in your head, but one is an actual fact of what is actually happening in your life, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
you go,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, that's kind of weird, why is that? So then we start to analyze, where are these voices coming from? So you go back and you look at, like, what kind of things did your mother say to you? What kind of things did your father say to you? What did your best friend say to you? What did siblings say to you? And then maybe a phrase will come up. Like, for example, I had another client who was working. She was doing part-time work as a health coach, and she was working full-time in an office. She was running the whole office, right? She'd never been to college. She was divorced. She really wanted a new relationship, but she, after 5 years of divorce, was still bailing her ex-husband out of jail, even though his girlfriend was sitting in the house waiting for him. She was the one bailing him out of jail. And I'm like, why are you doing that? And she said, well, he had a really hard life. He has PTSD. He's got this, that, and the other. I'm like, so you're not responsible for this guy anymore.
I
Whatever.
don't
We
think
talk.
that's what you really said. I don't
No,
think you went.
well, yeah, it was
I
a little
think you
more.
said something else.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was a
go
little
ahead.
more than that.
A
Yeah.
little more
Anyway,
than that.
so this is what was happening with her, and her boss was calling her at 9, 10 o'clock at night, saying, "Did you do this? Did you do that?" And I'm like, "Wait, you're working in an office. You're not curing cancer. Why is this allowed?" And
Oh man, that's
she
good.
said, "Well, I don't want him to fire me because all the people underneath me have degrees, and I don't have a degree, and I know I'm not good enough for this job." And I said, I don't think you realize that he gave you the job, and you're in charge.
You're not
And he's
auditioning any. You're not
obviously,
auditioning anymore. You have the
yeah,
job now.
he clearly relies on you. He's calling you at 9 o'clock at
Yeah,
night,
right.
right? So we started to look at how she can set some boundaries around that, because he wasn't going to fire her. He wasn't, so
Yeah.
she did bit by bit. She kind of inched away at that. And then what she really wanted, the point of this, I'll tell you the point of this in a minute. I forgot what the point was a second ago. So where that came from, that she wasn't good enough, was because we went all the way back. We did a lot of work. What we found out was, when she was a kid, her dad used to say to her sister all the time, "You are so smart. You
Oh,
are so clever. Oh, you're so clever." And he would say to her, "You're so pretty.
oh my goodness.
You're like so pretty."
Oh,
So in her little girl head, what she heard
you.
was, "I'm not
Yep.
very smart."
Yep.
it was meant as a compliment. The guy was being nice to his kids, but all she heard
Yeah,
was,
of
well,
course.
I'm not smart like my sister,
That's true.
right?
No, that's true.
And so she never went to it. It changed the course of her life. She didn't bother going to college. She thought she was rotten, she thought she wasn't clever enough. Now she's worrying about this job, right? So you've got to look at the reality, and now she's like, wow, I didn't even think of that. Like, why did that pop into my head? It's because I didn't think I was smart, but maybe I am smart. And then the other part of it was she was trying to get this health coaching business off the ground, and she was working for a company that gave incentives, and there was a cruise. And she goes, I'm not going to get the cruise. I'd love to go on the cruise, but I'm not going to get the cruise. I'm so many short. And I said, well, what do you need to do to get the cruise? Well, I'd have to call these people, but they don't want to hear from me. So we set boundaries, and we set every night a goal for her to do so many. And I said, listen, this is what you're going to do. You're going to do this work, but you're also going to tell your daughter you're taking on her a cruise, and you're going to go out and you're going to buy an outfit for the cruise, and you're going to hang it on the back of your door.
Way to go, way to go, way to go. I love it.
You know what?
I love it.
She won it. She won the trip.
I love it.
Actually, as I said to her, you didn't win it, you earned it.
You earned it. Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
There's a difference, right? She didn't win it, she earned it.
Yep, that's right.
So yeah, so just it's amazing when people start to believe in themselves. That's when you can set those goals, and that's when you can go for what you want. And by the way, she just got married last week.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, it's the love of her life.
So when we're talking about individuals, all of us seeing that we can achieve something, a lot of it stems from making sure we're not repeating voices in our head that are against what we're trying to achieve because someone else put them there.
Right.
And now we just keep repeating them, even though that person's not around any longer.
Well, we do. And it's all about being in a comfort zone, right? You're in this comfort zone, and you've got that, what's the amygdala? I'm not very good at the science part, but like your reptilian brain, your monkey brain, the part that was there when we were all living in caves, right? It's there, and it's there to keep you safe. That's the part that is, I call it the monkey brain, the part that's responsible for fight or flight. Like if you're sitting in a car with a kid and you slam the brakes on, you go like this, right? Even though you're not really going to stop him, but it's what you do. Okay.
Right.
So that part of your brain, you're in this comfort zone, you feel miserable, you're not happy with what's going on, but your brain says to you, you know what? You did all this stuff yesterday. You sat and you ate your pint of Chunky Monkey. You had your bottle of wine. You were
wine and Chunky Monkey.
Would that be good? I don't know.
But yet I still have a monkey brain. Okay, I'll go with the Chunky Monkey and the wine. I don't believe in the monkey brain.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
So anyway, and it says, you spent the week scrolling your ex-husband's Facebook page. You did all this stuff. But you know what?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You didn't die. Right? You didn't die, so guess what? We're just going to do the same thing now. Because if you do something different,
you didn't die.
maybe that's a little dangerous. So let's not do that. So what you have to learn to do is ignore that urge to stay exactly where you are, because it's so much easier.
Fight against it.
You got to take little baby steps out.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that's going to help you start to move forward.
A person starts to think that they can outthink themselves by not leaving the comfort zone. Yeah, they literally try to outthink themselves, but yet some part of us wants to get out of the comfort zone and wants to explore. It is like we really don't want to be on the couch all day or stay in bed all day. Those moments can happen. So stepping out of the comfort zone, baby steps is what you're talking about.
Yes. And then we make excuses too. We're like, they see somebody else who does it, somebody else who's successful, or somebody else who got divorced and they got their life together. I'll use divorce obviously as an example. And they ended up and they're married, and they live in they've got a great job, right? But we make excuses to ourselves. Well, that's all right for her. She can do it because, I don't know.
Whatever.
Because she's really thin, or
which is a really lame excuse.
She went to a better college than me, she knows more people than I do, or she's more extrovert. We make these excuses to ourselves because then we feel better about staying in that crappy place that we're in the first place.
Without trying.
Without trying, it's easy. But but they are excuses, because the point is, you can be, here's a mind-blowing thing, right? You can be whoever you want to be, because the great thing about divorce, or losing your job, or COVID, which I hate to say is a great thing about COVID, but it brings life to this screeching halt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everything that you thought you can rethink. I'm this woman who lives with this guy, and I do as I'm told, and I don't really have a career, and I just, looking after my kids, and I'm incapable of doing everything because he thinks I'm not very bright, right? Now you can go like, you know what? I don't have to listen to him anymore. What do I want to do? I want to be somebody who goes to the gym every day, or I want to be somebody who meditates,
Mm-hmm.
or I want to be somebody who decides on a new career and just and goes to college again, or
Mm-hmm.
even just goes for that new job, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can be whatever you want to be. You just have to decide and believe that you can do it, which seems very simplistic. I know it's not. It
Well,
seems like it's
well,
not easy, but
okay. So I'll be the one to get in trouble and say this. It is really that simple, because those are the instructions for the care package called life. Is
right.
I mean, those are the instructions that come with the package called life. You can be whatever you want to. You just
Yeah,
have to believe it.
but you have to believe it, and you have to be brave. And it sounds ridiculous to say you have to be brave to live your life, but you have to not listen to all those other people, because people,
Those other beliefs that were put in front
yeah,
of us
those
or
other people,
inside of us.
and the people that are around you right now.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah,
It
yeah.
makes other people uncomfortable when you change what you're doing. Your friends,
Oh,
your
that's a
family,
yeah. We disrupt
and
their comfort.
they're gonna say to you,
Their comfort zone is
yeah,
disrupted. Yeah,
they don't want to see somebody else stepping out their comfort zone, because
yeah,
then they're like, oh God, what's wrong with my comfort zone?
yeah.
Right?
Right, right,
Or I
right.
call it the uncomfortable comfort zone. But
Yeah.
yeah,
We and so the guy sitting there and they're at the bar stool every day after work before they go home. They're all sitting there going like, okay, this is what we do. And the
yeah,
guy goes like, you know what? I want to go home to my wife. One guy goes like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. They're like, oh, come on now. Why you want to do that? What are you gonna? She's gonna be just like my wife. No, really, my wife's not like your wife. That's why she's my wife.
right.
Your wife is your wife. That's why you're here on the bar stool. And so they step out of the comfort zone. But he has to stop believing what he's being told in his group of people he's hanging out with,
Exactly. Yeah.
and recognize what he has.
Yeah. And so you either have it you have it in your head, but you also have it in the people around you. So
Wow. That's some
it's
work.
really, it's a process. It's recognizing it, right? You can't, it's like being an alcoholic. You can't solve the problem if you don't recognize that you have a problem in the first place.
So just stopping the drinking doesn't solve the problem when the cause or the root reasons, the underlying current for drinking
Yeah.
isn't addressed.
Yes.
It'll just go to something else. It could go to pornography. It could go to eating. It could go somewhere. It could go to shopping. It can go anywhere else.
Yeah. If
But,
you've got an addictive personality, you're going to find something to be addicted to. Exactly. But if you start looking at, why am I behaving like this? You can start to whittle away at that.
and you work with individuals so they can start moving in that direction. You work with women and men, but you work with women after divorce. That's how you got started doing where you are right now,
Yeah.
per se. Right, right.
That's exactly what
I
well,
have a number.
actually, I
What
started as a health coach, and then did
before
not
you
like
say
it.
that? Before you say that, I have to take a commercial break.
Okay.
But I do have that question. That last thing that I mentioned to you was actually a setup question for what I'm going to talk about in the second segment. So we're going to get to that in a moment. I want you to know this has been truly enlightening, and you're a very insightful, intelligent woman who's given a lot of good advice. Oh wait, is your daughter still here? She may want to
I don't know. I
disagree.
can't tell.
She may want to disagree. I'm just kidding.
No,
So so
they think I'm awesome, actually.
okay.
Although they tell me they do. They could be
Well,
lying, of course.
well, it depends on how big the insurance policy is. But what I was going to say,
I don't have one.
so, so, well, then they really mean it then. So what I was going to say, we're gonna come back in just a little bit, Fiona. But thank you so much for this first segment. Everyone else that is with us, thank you, and those that have been with us, great. Some of you are going to see this a little bit later. You must go to Fiona's page. You must like, comment, share, follow Fiona's page. Fiona, what's your page again, please? Your Instagram page?
Instagram, fab.with.fiona.
And by the way, there is a book that Fiona has. Oh, you have more than one book? No, you have
Two
more than one.
books.
You have
Yeah.
two. That's what I remember. Yeah,
Happen to
you have
have them
two.
right here.
And they're
Yeah.
right behind you. I was going to say,
Yeah.
and they're right behind you. Yes.
So I don't know if it's backwards on here. The first one is Fearful to Fabulous.
Yes.
And that sort of gives 7 steps on how to move on.
Right.
And the second one is Too Scared to Love Again. So
okay.
And that goes into dating a little bit more, how to sidestep red flags, delight in dating, and find the love you deserve.
Right. 2 books, everybody. Okay. Now, you spend more money on pizza. Get the books. Okay. Don't be, represent this channel good. Don't be cheapskate. Don't be out there trying to look for the book for free. Spend the money. Put it as a business expense. Do something, but get Fiona's books. If they work for you, great. If they don't work for you, I'm telling you, try them anyhow. So thank you, Fiona.
They'll work.
Yeah, they'll work. Yes, I was going to say they'll work. It's just you got to do the work. But get Fiona's books. Fiona will be back in just a little bit. Thank you very much for the first segment. We'll see everybody in just a minute.